This is an Audio Wool original.
This episode of Frightday is brought to you by Spring-Heeled Jack Coffee. You need great coffee. Jack delivers. Visit springheeljack.coffee.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. If you'd like to support us, go to patreon.com/frightday.
It was still a good date night, though.
Oh, good.
Nothing like a plonk plowman's board to brighten your mood.
Is that a cheese and meat plate?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well,
Why do I love those so much? I never get sick of them. They're the greatest. I've had a lot of coffee this morning. Are you ready for me? I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm going to have lobster today. I'm going to have some lobster.
you expose how fucking wealthy you are every time. You're
Okay,
like,
that is not wealthy. I am not buying the lobster.
and you're yelling.
A wealthy client is sending me some lobster.
Yeah, but do you
some
see how
live
you're like,
ones.
I can't get enough of a meat and cheese board. I'm getting lobster today.
Just to be clear, I go and get meat and cheese boards during happy hours so that I pay half price.
A lot
for
of
them.
people don't get meat and cheese boards. Is all
I
I'm saying.
know. I'm perpetually guilty about my privilege.
You should be. You work
I
very
am.
hard for those meat and cheese
No,
boards.
I don't work any harder than a lot of people who don't get meat and cheese boards. I don't believe that. I'm just lucky.
Okay.
I am lucky.
It is Frightday. I'm your host, Byron, and the quietness of 3 a.m. can be serene. Wrapped in cool air with cars and strangers scarce, it's refreshing. But what if it's all you have? What if that cool air is locked behind a door? We'll talk about loneliness and being a straight-up vampire as we review Jonathan Cuartas's My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To. And I'm joined tonight by Kelly.
You are? It's actually not tonight. It is early in
early.
the morning.
And Sam can't make it because he's out getting breakfast burritos.
I do love that breakfast burritos.
I would like it if you twist the mic towards your mouth.
It is towards my mouth.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it is. So I was having a conversation with somebody the other day who used to live in Montana and now lives on the East Coast in the D.C. area. And he was talking about how he really thinks that breakfast burritos are a largely Western thing. Like, he thinks that,
I could see that.
like, Montana breakfast burritos are a completely different beast than they are where he lives now.
I think East Coast, they lean into the bagel thing.
Well, and he said they're just, like, very small. He's like, you get a breakfast burrito in Montana and it's like 7 pounds.
Yeah, well, everything's bigger in Montana.
The big
You
sky.
know the big...
Do you think we could get Ruggable as a sponsor?
We could certainly reach out. I wonder, do they have any horror-themed rugs?
They have Star Wars
Is this
themed
a
rugs.
free plug? What's going on? What are you doing? Are you on, like... I can't see.
I mean, they've got, it's their birthday sale, and I was
Come
just thinking
on,
about how I
close
needed
this-
a rug.
We don't need to do that right now.
And they're advertising it to me with a meat and cheese board on a
All
table
right.
that's on the rug, which makes
You
me feel
know
like I
what?
probably need it.
I want us to sound more relatable.
Do you want me to give a speech? I feel like enjoying meat and cheese boards is not an unrelatable thing.
Most of our listeners who love horror films are like, you know what else I like? I like
Meat and
eating
cheese
meat
boards?
and cheese off of a wooden
Okay,
board.
I would like to take a survey from everybody out there.
All right,
What
tell
is
me.
your favorite snack to eat while watching horror movies? And here's the thing. You don't get to answer with the standards. Like, you can't come back at me with popcorn.
Milk duds.
Milk duds. Dots.
Ooh, nachos, which I've never understood.
Yeah, they're very difficult to eat,
I've
actually.
never bought nachos at a movie.
I
Who's
feel like
different?
there's some room for innovation there. Somebody's got to come up with like a much more easily consumable nacho.
long strips of nacho.
Or, I don't know, there's got to be something to it. Like spoons made out of chips.
Chip spoons. Did you
Chip
just
spoons.
scoop in the nacho cheese?
Yeah.
I don't like it, but
I think it's
I
got
think I
some
could
legs.
sell. If nachos sell for like $6 at
Yeah, that's true. And they're like 12-cent gas station nachos.
Oh my
which,
God.
remember when I used to buy nachos at the gas station and then put the cheese
So,
into
yeah,
a coffee cup and
you
sneak it
do
into the
eat
theater?
nachos in theater.
I do.
Oh.
I'm just saying, not in the theater when you're sitting at home watching a movie and you can eat any snack you want while you're watching the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me what you really like to eat. What are your snacks? Because I really like myself a good meat and cheese plate while I'm watching a film.
And you should definitely, I mean, if you got a client that'll send you a lobster to the theater,
That would be amazing.
Kelly,
That would be
that's
great.
what's happening, except it's to your house
It
today.
is to my house today.
Out of control. But
It is out of control.
Speaking of
I've
out
never
of
done that
control,
before.
I was looking at, yesterday, Kanye West had a listening party for his new album.
Okay, he did a song with Jay-Z, though. I thought they hated each other. What happened to that?
don't-
I liked
I'm
it better when they
unfamiliar.
hated each other.
Why?
Because I like Jay-Z, and I'm
mean,
over Kanye.
You are so, tangentially into Jay-Z,
Yeah.
aesthetically, just, you don't know what he's done in the past 10 years.
Well, he married and had some children
All
with
right.
Beyonce.
So I was looking at the menu at the listening day event.
Oh, what are those snacks?
Really great snacks.
Meat and cheese boards?
Nope. Sweet and salty kettle corn. It's gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan. How much do you think it is?
$27.
$35.
I was close.
Yeah.
I was on the right track.
Assorted snack basket, which is a basket of gluten-free chips, bars, and jerky. I don't know what the bars would be. Like a.
Like a Lara bar, I would guess.
All right. Price on that assorted snack basket.
$46.
$65.
Okay, first of all, aren't listening parties supposed to be sponsored by the
it should
artist?
be free, right?
Right, I didn't-
Seems
I've-
like they should just be tossing that
Like,
stuff
this sounds
out.
like a concert where you go and buy
Well,
things.
actually, and that's kind of the thing. It was at a big arena, and there's a lot of people there in Atlanta.
Oh, whoa. So this wasn't like a small party where it might be reasonable that the limited crowd you invited could afford $65 snack baskets?
We're not quite done yet. Crispy chicken tenders.
Okay, give me some deets about it. Does it
That's it.
That's it. It doesn't. So it's not saying that
It's
it's
not
like
beyond
panko
chicken
breaded or
yeah,
something incredible or 51.
50.
Okay.
Really close.
Wow, I'm
Very
getting close. I'm getting close. Okay. Okay.
All beef kosher Franks.
I fucking love hot dogs.
I know you do.
Hold on, Franks, like multiples? You
I
get
don't see
more than
that's the
one?
thing. Is
That
is this
weird?
Is this a group purchase for the table? Kosher Franks for the table.
I mean, I like the idea of ordering kosher Franks for the table. Why is it the kosher dogs are definitely better than regular dogs? You ever notice that? Like a Hebrew National got a huge leg up on an Oscar Mayer.
Yeah, by the way, this week's episode of Good at Parties with Ross Kimball is about ordering food for the table.
Never done that.
Yeah, me
Never
either.
been that bold. I can't even order wine for the table. Okay, 44.
40. You're so close. You're getting very close.
Getting very good.
And the final thing on this menu at Kanye West's listening party, cookies and brownies. Vegetarian.
See, this is such bad signage because is it a cookie or a brownie for this amount, or are you getting 12 cookies and brownies?
I mean, that's the thing. Either way, the price is it's exorbitant.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Doesn't- I mean,
cookies and brownies.
not brookies.
48.
44. Just come on. If you would have just rounded on all of your last guess, you would have gotten it.
I was so close.
Absolutely absurd.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's absolutely fucking crazy.
But it is Kanye West, so
Who charges at their own listening party?
I don't know. I kind of like the vibe that
I
he's
mean, he
going
probably
with,
is
though.
broke. He's divorcing that Kim.
Kim K. I bet he's got plenty of money,
I
but
don't know. I feel like he spent it all on that weird church. And those clothes that make no sense.
I think the clothes make him a lot of money.
They probably do, actually. A lot of people are fucking stupid.
All right, Kelly. Guess what? These DVD copies of Intolerable Cruelty aren't going to put themselves away.
I really liked Intolerable Cruelty.
It's time for staff picks.
They say so much, but they never tell you if it's any good.
Werewolf movie with E.T.'s mom in it.
The Howling, horror, straight ahead.
Okay.
Do you have a staff pick?
Yes.
Great.
Do you have a staff pick?
I do. Jeez, who wants to go first?
I don't know.
We got this laid back morning vibe going on.
Is it laid back?
Yeah, I feel
like
now
it's
I'm getting worked up.
I don't
What's
know. Do you
going
want to go
on?
first or do you want me to go to first?
I feel a little self-conscious about my pick this week.
Okay. I'm never self-conscious about anything. The only drawback to mine is that my guess is a lot of you guys have seen it.
That's mine as well.
But-
are we doing the same movie?
I don't think so.
All right.
But it's very important for you to watch this if you're watching the movie that we watched this week. Okay.
Okay.
So hopefully you're listening to this before you've watched My Heart's Beating and it's going to make
Just
you
get
want to
it
die.
right. It's rude to say it wrong every time.
It's too long a title. The
It is.
director made that mistake and he deserves whatever happens
I
because of
guess
it.
that's kind of true.
Because this movie will crush your soul, I highly recommend that you have on hand and ready to watch immediately afterwards a 2014 jam called What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, okay. So,
Because Lord Love a Toucan, you won't see anything positive about the universe around you by the time the last scene fades from the movie that we're reviewing tonight. So switch it over immediately, put on some Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement.
I mean, for people who don't know about What We Do in the Shadows, maybe you could...
Oh, so it is a mock reality TV show. It's a movie, but it's mocking the format of, let's say, Real World. Okay,
It's technically a documentary about vampires in New Zealand.
right, but it's mocking the documentary style of Real World.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
Okay.
Anyhow, it's these vampires in New Zealand that share a flat. They are hilarious, and they're trying to navigate modern society. They run into some swearwolves. They have some encounters with some funny police officers. It is hilarious. It is pure, joyful fun. And by the end of it, you might have recovered from the movie that you watched upon our recommendation, for which I apologize.
Quite possibly. And if you haven't dug back in our catalog, this is episode 12 of our show.
It's so funny because if you would have asked me, did we cover this movie on the show, I would have said, no, that was before we started doing this.
Well, we've been doing this 6 years.
God, that's so crazy.
So...
Almost 7, actually, isn't it? 6.5.
I don't know.
Come October, it'll be 7,
It's a
right?
lot. It's been a very long journey for us.
Holy shit.
But-
It's always just a little bit younger than my oldest child. That's how I remember it.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, you were
Yeah.
pregnant
Yep.
twice over the course of this.
Yep. That's spawned 2 offspring. Yeah, I mean, I just think, all jokes aside, this is, in my opinion, one of the best vampire movies ever made. It captures all the tropes, just joyfully ridiculous about them. And you gotta
Can't
love
argue that.
Taika Waititi. Who doesn't love Taika Waititi?
Pretty incredible.
God, I hope he doesn't get canceled. If he gets
Why-
canceled,
why would-
I don't know.
see-
I just feel like anybody could get canceled these days because people do
All
dumb
right.
shit.
Okay, now you're getting a little red pilled over here.
No,
Calm down.
I'm not saying that they could be canceled unjustly. I'm saying I think anybody
Actually,
could be canceled.
there was a bit of a scandal.
Oh, yeah, with his,
recently.
like, the
he was
girlfriend
triple
thing.
kissing with an
Yeah.
actress and his girlfriend.
Yeah. Which,
Who
whatever.
cares? Real world.
She could
style.
do.
Why not?
Yeah. So, no, I'm just to be clear, I'm not saying like I hate cancel culture. I'm saying that
no one said that.
okay,
I'm sorry.
just saying that everybody makes dumb choices, it feels like these days.
Yeah.
And I hope that he doesn't make one.
Or hasn't made.
Right, that comes to light. Because
Yeah.
I really like him. But I also like Jermaine Clement.
Sitting in the shadows.
Yeah, he's very funny. And I know that he's had something to do with some of the spin-off shows from What We Do in the Shadows. Because there's obviously the TV show that's What We Do in the Shadows, but there's also, what is it, Wellington Paranormal?
Which
that
I
I
haven't
think he's
seen
been
anything about. Yeah,
involved
but
in.
Swearwolves is coming up.
Yeah,
so.
and Swearwolves is going to be great. And also, if you want to catch one of his best roles, him being Jermaine Clement, check out The Crab in Moana.
Just check out one character and he
Okay, there's a scene. Shiny!
never seen
He
it.
sings this amazing song because he's this crab that lives on the bottom of the ocean, collects jewels, and he looks like a bedazzled, like little old lady.
Great.
But he sings about being shiny.
All right. Well, it does appear that, unfortunately, Jermaine Clement is booked out along with, last week we were talking about Joel David Moore. Clement is also in Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are scheduled to be released sometime in between 2021 and 2028.
Can't wait to watch The Abyss and
All
talk
right.
about all the
Okay.
fun facts I've learned about The Abyss.
Great.
James Cameron's not fun to work for.
There's a time,
Spoiler alert.
I've heard that, but I've also heard he's a good guy for some reason. I don't know. Is he
I
not?
imagine him being a horrible
I
human.
kind of had the same feeling, and then I talked to someone over the weekend about James Cameron, and they said he's like actually
Who you talked to about JC?
doesn't matter.
All right, what's your pick? It's not going to be as good as mine. Go.
2008. I found myself sitting in a movie theater in Chicago, Illinois. Film fades from black to falling snow.
Oh,
Chilly
30
air.
Days.
Nope. Nope. Way
Nope?
better than 30 Days. a
I
Night.
like 30 Days of
It's
Night.
good, but this film's much better. Let the Right One In.
Oh, yeah, that is a good one. The original, we're talking about.
Yeah, not Let Me In. Talking about Tomas Alfredson's Let the Right One In.
Very
Swedish
good.
film.
Swedish.
Romantic, chilly, chilling. A lot of the same elements
Influence.
from this movie.
Much more cheerful than the movie we watched this week, though.
Well, because it's got a little bit more love in it.
I don't know. This one had a lot of love in it.
There's a lot of pain in Let the Right One In as well. And a lot of neck cutting.
Yes.
Draining blood
It's
into
fine.
buckets.
I don't mind that.
It seems like a burden. an endless thing. Like, I mean, I've worked in a small business where I have to go to the post office every day. That's draining. Imagine having to physically drain bodies of blood to keep someone alive.
I wonder if a vampire could get their stomach stapled and like not need as much blood.
All right. I think that they'd be lacking nutrition, Kelly.
Yeah, they could probably just get
The
like
point
a
of
vitamin
stapling
B
your
shot.
stomach is to slowly eat over the course of a day. Still taking in just as much. Well, not as much, I guess. But
I feel like it's to not take in as much.
if you're a binge eater, it is. But you're supposed to still get the same amount of nutrients.
Oh, you're still supposed to get nutrients.
My goodness, this tangent here.
Do you think that vampires really need nutrients though? Because it's not like blood has all of those vitamins in
It has everything they need.
Right, but my point is they could
Just like
probably
vitamin
get what they
water.
need via like an injection or something. Somebody could probably come up with a food substitute for vampires.
I do believe that's the entire plot of the TV show True Blood. They make a synthetic blood called True Blood
right.
that allows vampires to come out of the
You
shadow.
know what's funny is I forgot that was even a plot point.
Yeah, they kind of
And
got
I
away
really
from
liked that show.
They
a
got away from it
lot.
very quickly and began actually just drinking blood again. Like,
well,
quite a
'cause
lot.
They had a lot more fun with that. It tasted better.
Yeah, I mean, it made them more horny, and that makes the show apparently more better.
Right.
I don't
Speaking
know.
of which, what are those peeps doing?
Listen, we don't need to
'Cause
talk about that. I'm going to finish
Sookie and
this
Bill
up.
got married, you know.
Yeah, they flew through the airport that I worked at the time. Anna Paquin and Stephen Moyer.
Were they nice or were they rude gusses?
They were just doing their thing. I don't think they stopped for, like, hanging out.
Huh.
Really love this film. Avoid the remake, Let Me In, and I do believe that they're making a TV version of Let the Right One In. I just saw that announced. Yeah. Which is supposed to be closer to the spirit of the Swedish version from 2008. Oh, for those who don't know, though, when Oscar, a sensitive, bullied 12-year-old living with his mother in suburban Sweden, meets his new neighbor, the mysterious and moody Ellie, they strike up a friendship. Initially reserved with each other, Oscar and Ellie slowly form a close bond, but it soon becomes apparent that she is no ordinary young girl. Eventually, Ellie shares her dark, macabre secret with Oscar, revealing her connection to a string of bloody local murders.
Oh.
Great film. Love it a lot.
Yeah, it was good. Oh, that's good. I mean, I don't know that it pairs with this one as well because it's also not super uplifting. It is not as depressing as this one, but it isn't super uplifting. I think you need a cheerful one. I would just go ahead and disregard Byron's. Watch that at a different time. Watch mine with this one.
I don't know what to tell you.
Then pace yourself, and a couple weeks later you can watch Byron.
All right, well, guys.
Ooh, Bill and Sookie have twins.
Is that right? Fantastic, guys. Oh, we don't even need to ask people to leave because they've already left, Kelly.
I think people like hearing about where Bill and Sookie
I
are
don't
these
think
days.
anyone cares at all.
I
But
think they do.
I do expect there to
Looks
be...
like she fixed that gap in her teeth. That's unfortunate. I feel like that's
That was a trademark look.
yeah, it was totally a trademark.
All right, well,
What if the lobsters get here while you're here?
great. That would be really good for the podcast. But before that happens, what do you say we talk sad vampire movies that are also scary and horror films?
Let's just talk sad vampire movies.
Get the fuck out. So we review My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To.
We hope you're enjoying your visit here this evening. Now, on with the show.
I'm never going to remember the name of that movie.
My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To. It's a 2021 horror film directed by Jonathan Cuartas. Dwight and his sister Jessie reach a crossroads over what to do about their youngest brother, Thomas. Thomas? Do you remember? Thomas or Tomas? Thomas.
I think it's just Thomas. You're really sticking with this Swedish thing.
I
But
don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of locked in.
yeah.
Thomas's mysterious illness. The increasingly dangerous task of keeping him alive weighs heavy on sensitive Dwight. And as a fiercely private and close-knit family unit, Thomas and Jessie depend on him and the rituals they've learned in order to keep their secret. Dwight yearns for another life, but Jessie will stop at nothing to keep her family together. That makes it sound a lot more dramatic than it is.
Yeah. That's an interesting summary. I
Yeah.
mean, that's not how I would well, maybe.
I mean,
don't know.
kind of.
Yeah.
Jonathan, he's a Colombian-American filmmaker from Miami. Did a handful of shorts before this, but this is his feature-length debut. He won the Citizen Kane Award for Best Directorial Revelation at Sitges. This film was also awarded Best Feature Film in the Nove Visions category. It also received a special jury mention at Tribeca. I believe it was supposed to debut at Tribeca, but of course all the COVID stuff got in the way again. He graduated film school in 2016, did a handful of short films, one called Kuru, which I planned to watch but didn't. Kuru, always a fascinating thing to me.
Why is it so fascinating to you?
Because I'm a cannibal guy. I find cannibalism very interesting, and that's they get prion when they eat the protein of human flesh.
And what does Kuru mean?
The funny thing is you did a whole episode about this.
Should I call it Kuru?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't surprise
A fatal disease of the brain occurring in some people in New Guinea and thought to be caused by a virus-like agent such as a prion. So it's a prion disease.
Okay. So stay away from it.
Yeah, don't eat other people. Don't eat other people, I guess, period. Yeah. Apparently he's best friends with his older brother, Michael, who just so happens to be a cinematographer. What are you looking at? When Your Lobster's Coming?
No, but I will check that.
Jesus
Actually, that's a
Christ.
good point. No, I was looking, apparently, two friends of ours who have been vaccinated just tested positive for COVID and
nice.
are feeling really shitty.
Visually, first thing you see.
Trying to remember what the first, I can tell you what the last thing
No,
was.
visually, what is different about this movie? This is just a fun game.
It's
It's in
dark?
3:4 aspect ratio.
Never could have told you that.
You would have thought this is a. What just fell? Oh,
Byron, you're just tipping the couch over.
I'm
You just
pissed
broke
off.
things.
Okay, it's not a widescreen film. It's in 3:4, which is fun.
Couldn't have told you.
3:4. It's like TV, like your old school TV.
Makes sense, and I believe you. That's not a thing I ever would have noticed.
Okay, well, I love.
Apologies.
No, it doesn't matter. I was just checking to see if you had any sort of
Observational skills?
well,
Nope.
dismal dumpster diving. A guy finds a baseball bat, and our friend Dwight rolls up in his truck, picks up this homeless man who in the car says,
I'm not gonna suck your dick. That's not what this is. I don't do drugs either.
But Dwight is just trying to help.
Just trying to help.
And he's taking him to a shelter, but this shelter doesn't look like a shelter.
No.
It looks like a residence.
He said it looks like a house. It used to be.
Used to be a house.
Like this, and that pretty much sets the tone for the whole movie because it's all about the sadness. Now, here's Byron, I don't know if it's okay to tell people this early on.
Sure, why not?
You never find out how things came to be the way they are.
I mean, what vampire movies do you ever see in origin, really? It's pretty rare.
True Blood.
I mean, yeah, they do like to dive deep into
We
like,
know exactly
he
what
was
the
a
origin was.
Revolutionary War guy or something.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
was
And
that
you
what
know
it was?
how they got bit. You know.
I think that's like a later season thing. I don't think it's necessarily too important.
Well,
Because it kind of, in this movie, leaves it open to interpretation of like, is this mental illness? Is this something they were attempting to treat and it became a habit? What is reality?
my thing.
Something that confirms it is, we'll talk about later. But
I feel very strongly about my curiosity to know where all of this began. And I found myself for the first 2/3 of the movie really hoping that we found out. But then I found myself for the last third of the movie very satisfied with the idea that I realized we weren't going to.
you submitted to
Yeah, I was
the
okay
story.
with it.
Okay.
But for a long time, I was just like, well, once I realized it wasn't a horror movie and it was
You
just like
can
a
fuck
sad
right
movie,
off.
then I was like, okay, well, I don't need
It
this
can be
plot
both.
connection
Can
for
be
myself.
both.
I'm okay just leaning into the depression of this film.
Not the fact that they're killing people and drinking blood,
wasn't
which is a
scary.
scary thing.
It really wasn't very
Murder
scary.
is scary, Kelly.
It's not that scary.
It's
Lots
scary.
of movies have murder without being horror.
Yeah, but also there are movies that involve people killing people, draining their blood, and feeding it to a boy.
See my neighbor walking by on the street?
Yeah, I guess me screaming that is probably not the best thing.
I mean, it's cool.
Did I tell you, my old high school girlfriend came by,
Oh, yeah.
and I was telling her about my Nathaniel Barjona project.
Yeah, and you came outside and
Well, as I was leaving to get back in my car, I see my neighbor mowing the lawn. As she's shouting, "You're interested in pedophilia?"
and then, yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Has your neighbor looked at you since?
No, and his daughter, I caught her shutting the blinds very quickly when I got home. a young daughter.
Yep.
Is
Yep.
uncomfortable.
Yep.
As this homeless man walks towards the shelter, he's knocked unconscious with the baseball bat that he found in the dumpster by Dwight. Pretty straight on, unflinching shot of him and Jesse, his sister, Dwight and Jesse, cutting this homeless man's neck and draining his blood into a bucket, which is scary and fucked up, because if that was you that was the homeless man, I would have to say you would be more scared than sad, Kelly.
I would disagree with you.
You would be like, oh man, this is so sad.
No, I think just here's my contention.
Horrifying act.
My contention is the way that homeless people and immigrants in our country are treated is much more horrifying than the end that either of them met in this story.
So that still makes this a scary film.
And I think
I would like to end this debate as soon as possible, because
Okay,
it's very distracting to the actual plot of it.
Well, I don't think it is. We talk all the time about whether a movie counts.
Well, yeah, but you're not going to shift your opinion. And obviously, me and every other person on the planet is going to say that this is a fucking horror film.
I think that there are going to be people who don't.
And that's fine. Sound off in the chat, but you're not going to change anything. The chat? I've been on Twitch too long, twitch.tv/Frightday. In the comments, please, or let's talk about it in the Facebook group, facebook.com/Frightday. All right. Well, we know the characters. We know Dwight. We know Jesse. And Thomas comes out. Well, he doesn't come out. They go in because he's stuck in bed.
He can't.
They're finger feeding him some blood out of a bowl. He is struggling. But we've seen this actor before. Super Dark Times. I think you like that film, right?
I love Super Dark Times.
It doesn't seem like much of a horror film, though.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
I'll take that argument.
I was just baiting you.
No.
Owen Campbell. I think he's great. He plays Thomas. Been in a couple things. The TV show The Americans. And he's in an upcoming film we talked about before the show, Candyland, which is about lot lizards.
Yeah.
Which is what they say in the description. It's not a derogatory term towards sex workers at gas stations. It's just...
Are the lot lizards referring to the people that hire the sex workers or the sex workers themselves?
I believe it's the sex workers themselves, but
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
We also, Dwight is played by Patrick Fugit, who a lot of people would know from his work in Almost Famous. He's also in Gone Girls, Risk Covers a Love Story, but most importantly, Queen of Earth, one of my favorite psychological horrors, and the TV show Outcast, which I believe the first episode was directed by Adam Wingard, which I would say that Patrick Fugit in this film channeled his outer Adam Wingard with that long goatee with the hair.
I think
totally he looks exactly like Adam.
Yeah,
That was very interesting.
I buy into that fully. I just
don't say anything you don't need to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Ingrid Sophie Schramm, Schram. Schramm?
I think it's Schramm.
I've never seen her. She was apparently in Phantom Thread and a film called Electric Slide.
Was she the lead in Phantom Thread? I can't believe I haven't seen that yet.
Was that a PTA film?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but
not just a PTA film, but a PTA film
with Daniel
DDL.
Lewis. Yeah. It's a stacked cast there.
Yeah, it's dumb that I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it
No,
either.
she played house model.
What do you think of this family unit?
They're close.
They're sad.
They're broken.
Not doing well. Jessie works as a waitress at a diner.
They'd all be better off dead.
I think they'd be better off working towards their happiness.
Yeah, how's that gonna... How?
I don't know. You could say, I think my little brother's a vampire to a doctor, and then you could
Yeah, you think they've got some good medication for that one?
No, but they could at least work on something. I've never understood that. They're not gonna Dr. Van Helsing isn't gonna come in and stake someone. I think they're gonna try to help the person.
I mean, maybe.
Especially one that isn't inherently bad.
Well, no, but okay. So let me just say that I did read some information about the director.
Okay.
And the themes of how this story parallels the existence of an immigrant family are pretty overt.
Oh, okay. I didn't pick up on that. I picked up on the chronic illness themes.
The chronic illness themes, addiction is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
But it has a very heavy, okay, we have this issue and we want to do something about it, but we know that he's going to be treated a certain way because
he's different.
He's very, very different.
Yeah.
Which is the same reason they don't want him to go out and play with kids. I don't think they're actually concerned that he's going to kill somebody.
No, he hasn't really shown.
No, he has no bloodlust really, which is
No.
interesting.
Like he's pathetic even when he's eating like
Right.
blood out of a bowl.
Right. He is not
or
a
off of the
vicious
ground.
vampire.
Yeah.
But then I think this is what makes the story so interesting and multi-layered. So we've got almost this analogy for this family being like an immigrant family, but then we see this family hurting immigrants and homeless people because they recognize that society doesn't give a flying shit about them, and so nobody's going to miss them. There's no clear hero. There's no clear...
There's a lot of victims, though.
Oh, just nothing but. Just everywhere.
Victims of physical attacks and mental illness and
Yep.
sickness.
Yep.
I mean, Dwight's put in a tough position. I think we mentioned it at some point where he doesn't really want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Thomas is sick. He's not getting better, and he's not sure that they should keep doing the awful things that they're doing.
Yep.
He's very conflicted, and he has dedicated his entire life to taking care of his little brother, and then he comes across a sex worker that he finds a connection with, which I don't even know if it's that much of a connection, which makes the story even more sad, because
Right.
this woman means so much to him.
It reminds me of a much darker version of in Ozark when Sam falls in love with the stripper, right?
Yeah.
Like clearly so starved for any kind of real human connection. And that's the only one he feels safe in because he's not allowed to really interact with people. It's just so unbelievable.
That's pretty
grim.
brutal, yeah.
Oh, it's grim.
But they get to have fun sometimes. They have Christmas every month.
I do like that.
I love that. I thought that was really
like
nice,
that.
especially when they get that karaoke machine.
Reach out and turn off everything. There's much to blame. My world's in vain. And when they get out and turn to everything.
Well, and here's the thing that I didn't quite understand though. It was as though Thomas didn't understand how time was passing.
I think that was purposefully a little
vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was
I like those throwaway details, and they're half explained too.
right,
which I
and that's
like
what
a
I mean.
lot.
By the last third of the movie, I was totally okay
You're
with
just
that
like
too.
leaning into this is what this is.
Right, like
yeah.
it's going to
It's
let me
a day in
construct
the-
my own
a
idea.
few days in the life.
Yeah.
Which I liked as well. The game was really cool. It scored the film in a really interesting way as well. This game that Thomas plays with Jesse, I believe mostly Jesse, he plays a spooky song on a pipe organ, and the other person, while holding their hands up, has to guess the year or closest to it that the song was written. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
There's a moment where Patrick Fugit is playing acoustic guitar as well. These very haunting little numbers that are like kind of poorly performed. It was
Yep,
It was
on
really
purpose.
good. I
Yeah.
thought that was awesome.
Yep.
I should say I love seeing Fugit. It's been a while since I've seen Patrick.
What the hell has he been up to anyway?
I don't know, but it's nice to see someone like him. I think he did a made-for-TV movie, which made me kind of sad. But this movie has been
Reckless.
like critically acclaimed. Like
He had
people
a couple made-for-TV movies.
yeah,
that
which
looked-
is kind of a bummer because he had the opportunity with that. I think it was a Starz original show, Outcast. I don't think that went very far, so it's nice to see him recovering from that with this pretty impressive indie film, in my opinion. I don't know. Seems like critics like it's 90%, 90-some% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Yeah, which makes a ton of sense because it has enough themes in it that make it a very solid drama piece.
And a horror film as well.
Okay. I'm not going to argue
that's
with you,
fine.
but
I'm not gonna
what
argue
I'm going
with
to
you.
tell you is that I think the reason for it being
Is
on
that it's a great combination of the two.
well is that it is at the very least, it is viewed by a lot of people as something more than a horror movie.
I think that's true, but it's also sad that people don't view horror films
I
as
agree.
potentially art. So
I agree. I don't disagree with that
I
at
think
all.
there's just a wider definition of horror, maybe. But Dwight wants to leave, but he can't, and he's also having trouble getting fresh blood. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would be an efficient killer, even though the first thing we see him doing is hitting someone in the back of the head with a baseball bat. But that's exactly it, from behind. with
Right.
a
He's
baseball bat.
not. This is clearly. I mean, nobody wants to be living this life, but he is more of a poor fit for this
He's sensitive.
villain and hurting other people than just about anybody.
Jesse's a
would be.
lot better at it.
She's much better at it.
I mean, he's good at setting bait. He's good at getting breakfast burritos and
Yep.
looking for people down on their luck. But things don't go very smoothly with Eduardo.
Yeah.
there are some details in their interactions with Eduardo that I absolutely love.
Oh, let's hear it.
Well, Dwight, he picks up this homeless, illegal immigrant. He put in a very bad position, doesn't speak English at all. And the conversations between the two, them trying to understand each other, I thought was really interesting. They pull over. Dwight is preparing to kill Eduardo. He didn't open up the wallet yet. That's later. I love that miscommunication. That was, I think, one of the more interesting parts of this movie.
I loved, that we could tell what he was saying, but Fugit couldn't. Dwight couldn't. Yeah.
So Dwight struggles to try to kill Eduardo in the car by strangling him. Eduardo grabs a screwdriver and stabs Dwight in the leg very hard, and apparently into the bone, which looked bad. But eventually does get him. There's a moment where Eduardo's begging, pleading for him not to kill him. I thought that was like, the actor who played Eduardo was absolutely amazing.
Oh, so good. What else has he been in, B?
Moises El Tovar. I'm probably saying that wrong, but he was a translator in Hereditary. He played a translator in Hereditary. And that is one of the only big things he's done. He was in the Day Zero TV series for one episode, but yeah, I thought he was absolutely amazing.
Hopefully we get more from him, because he really, the way he played that role was fascinating.
This whole scene, once Dwight does get the upper hand, he's looking through Eduardo's wallet and finds a picture of a man, asking him, "Is this your son?" Because he's starting to feel bad about what he's doing. In Spanish, Eduardo's explaining that was the coyote who he was supposed to locate after he got into the United States, that was supposed to help him. But he didn't help him, and now look at him. He's in this position where he's duct taped to a chair with a man who's going to kill him. So it's that little misunderstanding I thought was really important to the story.
Because Fugit honestly very clearly doesn't want to kill him and feels very sad about his son that he can't find, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't even the case.
Wasn't true.
But it doesn't change the weight of what he's doing. I just thought
it doesn't.
that was really an interesting detail.
Right. Well, and I think it was also I don't think Fugit was dumb. I think that he knew that it could be something completely different because he didn't understand anything that Eduardo was saying, but he's so desperate for some kind of a connection.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He's looking for some kind of a connection. So he's like, oh yeah, sure. I'm going to just go ahead and believe that this is his son, even though it very well may not be. And I'm going to create this story for this guy to make him even more human to me so that I can connect with somebody, because now the only person I have to talk to is dead.
Well, yeah, he did die. And
I was saying she.
Oh, yeah, later. Oh, okay. I mean, even later on, when Eduardo, spoiler alert, doesn't make it, he burns the picture. Do you remember that quick little throwaway scene? He burns the picture of the coyote.
Oh,
it was this
missed that.
He felt so he was so committed to that idea that it was. I just thought that was really interesting.
Wow.
I mean, there's some scenes that really establish Jessie as the character that she is. Like when she goes and kills Dwight's sex worker friend and then just rolls the body in.
And I have a theory.
Pulls her gold teeth out without really even a second thought.
I think she knew that there was a connection between.
Oh, well, I mean, she was spying on him. She viewed the sex worker as a threat because Dwight was obviously reluctant to be doing what they're doing.
And she said at one point to him, are you leaving us? You can't leave us.
You can't leave us.
And so she sensed that, there was a risk there that he might run away with sex worker McGillicuddy.
Yeah, we can't do this without you is kind of her vibe.
Which was ironic when...
we probably won't talk about that part. That's a bit of a spoiler, but really incredible look at three very different characters, but all just kind of trapped in desperation and sadness. We get a little confirmation that either we have an unreliable narrator as a cinematographer, or Thomas actually is a vampire when he writes a note on a piece of paper on a paper airplane and throws it out to some neighborhood kids. Immediately gets wrapped up kind of like Jigsaw does with people's heads, but with a sheet over the top of him.
Yeah.
He's just so sad and wants friends.
He's so... he's a teenager, but he's got the emotional intelligence
of
an
8?
Yeah. Because he's never been socialized in any way, shape, or form.
He's supposed to be sleeping during the day.
Yeah.
And he's staying up listening to kids playing. It's just...
Speaking of kids playing...
Oh, hey. Are they back?
They're back from the dentist.
All right. Speaking of Eduardo, though, Dwight tried to keep him alive for a little bit in the shed. I don't know what he was thinking they were going to do with this man, but what do you think he was trying to do?
I don't think he really knew.
I don't think so either.
I think
he's kind of cracking.
Yeah, and he just didn't want to kill another person, and he needed somebody to talk to, even if he couldn't understand what that other person was saying.
Yeah, but then Eduardo escapes and breaks into the house, which I thought was like probably a bad idea. Just run.
Yeah, that's what... Why do you think he did that?
I think maybe he was angry with the way he was treated, even though he didn't act like...
No.
Overtly angry. He was angry. I mean, he was when Dwight went and fed him food, he spit his food at him.
I guess, Byron, here's my argument that he was more bummed out and angry than he was scared. Because if he had really been that scared, he would have run.
You would think so. But,
he wouldn't have just said, I'm going to go see what I can do here.
Just pouring some cold brew there. All right. Okay. You almost spilt it on your computer, but that would be normal.
Would be normal. Normie roundup.
So he's forced to kill Eduardo, though. Hi, neighbor.
I don't know that one. I haven't met him yet.
All right. This pushes Dwight a little bit over the edge.
Yep.
He starts hyperventilating while singing.
Yep, he goes to sing our theme song.
My heart can't beat unless you tell it to.
My eyes can't see, baby, unless you
Who was that and why was
tell you to. There are things I should do, but
Answer me!
I'm controlled by your love. I'm controlled by your love. Yes,
Yep, he's about as good at karaoke as I am.
Fucking love this scene. This was like
was really
Oscar worthy.
It was real good.
Holy cow, Fugit. That was wild.
Yeah, Fugit's got some chops. I mean, I've said that since Almost Famous. So
See, I was never an Almost Famous guy. It wasn't for me.
this made me just want to watch it all over again and watch Saved all over again.
I mean, we could talk a little bit more about the paper airplane scene, which follows this, where the neighbor boy, actually one of the boys in the group, does respond to this desperate plea.
Yeah.
And it's a big mistake.
It is a big mistake, unfortunately.
But this is, I think, the biggest glimpse into the life of these three people that we get is through Thomas giving us like almost a tour of his house and his life and his world.
Right, and seeing because at this point we know very well what things look like from his siblings' perspective.
Yeah.
And now we finally learn a little bit more about what they look like from his perspective.
He truly is a sweet boy that has been lied to for a large
Really long
chunk
time.
of his life. And it takes some dark turns, but I think that maybe that's where we should leave it, right?
I think it is where we should leave it because I think if we do anything else, I mean, I know I'm going to give it away.
Are there any other scenes that you want to talk about? The burn was the one that I was waiting to bring up. In throwing the airplane out, he does get hit by the light and receives
A burn.
on his arm, which looked rough. And it did heal quickly, or it was another time dilation thing. Do we really have to like record outside in the traffic under the airstrip?
We aren't under an airstrip. That's the thing.
All right. Well, they're always flying over.
Well, now they are.
Is he a vampire?
Yes, he's a vampire.
I mean, that's the thing. That's kind of the question, though. Like,
so I think what they did is they removed all doubt.
with the sun?
No, I think that was
Oh,
possible.
yeah.
But with the when the sister, and then he's really sad and crying, and then by the time Fuga gets home, he's like sucking on her neck. Remember that scene?
Yeah, I don't think just sucking blood out of someone's neck makes you a vampire.
Really?
No, I mean Richard Chase, the vampire of.
Okay, but he did it because he was trying to be a vampire.
He was a mentally ill man. I mean, but that's the thing. It's like you could think you're a vampire too.
Bye.
Bye, Sam. Oh, I'm sorry. If you listen close, you can hear Sammy's still alive. All right. Well,
He's just chained up in our shed with duct tape over his mouth.
yeah. Bye.
Speaking to me in Spanish.
and driving a car. This is great.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Final thoughts on this thing.
Beautiful, well acted, well written, depressing as shit.
Yeah.
Soul crushing movie. Worth a viewing for sure. Just
Just one.
make sure that you're ready to be real sad And as I said earlier, make sure that you have What We Do in the Shadows queued up and ready to roll. This was very touching, and the allegories, I think, are strong and important to pay attention to. I'm excited to see more from this director because clearly he knows how to put a great deal of emotion. I am, and I know, Byron, you don't like this, but I'm interested to see what he can do when he actually turns up the horror dial a little bit.
Sure.
Like, I'd like to see what he does with this combination. To me, this was a purely emotional movie. I want to see what he does with a combination of the emotion and the horror. Like, I want to see something spooky.
Oh.
I want to see him go Blomkamp.
What does that mean to you?
Neil.
You want him to go full sci-fi?
Well, no. So Blomkamp has
you're saying low budget
has flexed his muscles in some genres and now is doing a full-fledged horror.
Well, yeah.
And he's demonstrated lots of skills in other genres that I'm sure will play into
I see what you're saying
this
there.
being a good horror movie.
Okay.
And I would like to see an actual horror movie from Cuartas. I give My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It to 7.7 Paper Airplanes.
I think that this is one of my favorite films of the year.
I knew it was going to be
Of
when I
course
saw
it is. Slow, sad, cold, and just miserable moment after miserable moment.
So this is why you're digging in so hard on me not calling it horror, because you're going to make it on your top 10, so it needs to be horror for you.
I'm going to push it up, and it will be in our collective top 10 at the end of the
Oh,
year.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's in my top 10. I just have no shame about if we've covered it, it's in the running for
So it's
top
a horror
10.
film if we say it is.
No.
I think that's kind
It's
of what
part
you're
of our
saying.
top 10.
Love seeing Fugit, one of his best performances in this film. The whole cast was incredible. The world building, I've never seen this vampire before. Well, I mean, closest would be Let Me In, but nothing as heavy as this. I think that, like you said, the allegories are really clear, but not in a distracting way. I think this is an incredible film, and I completely agree with you. I can't wait to see what this director does next. And I will go back and watch Kuru, especially after watching this film last night at midnight, and we're recording at 8 a.m.
Oh my God, why did you do that?
I was too busy getting the last episode of Christmas in July by the Most Wonderful Pod of the Year people up. Go check that out as well. Lots of great work going on.
So Cynthia R. Johnson on IMDb disagrees wholeheartedly with us, Byron. She says,
Bad film?
how Rotten Tomatoes give this a 98% is beyond me, Obviously, they have some critics on board who also work for a movie company. One of the worst
You think
movies ever. Not worst, worse.
Worse. Dark Sky really does pay a lot of critics. I think it's like a handful, maybe almost 100 critics at this point.
And then we've got David Meth, who says,
Cool last name.
hipster with a Y.
Well.
Hipster movie 100% trying to be edging and special with a long-ass title. I knew this was going to be pure shit, and it was long, slow, and pointless.
Okay, I give it 8.9 electric organs. We should do this at the end of every one, is read some like...
John Vincent 80, WTF. OMG, this bored me for 30 minutes and had to turn it off. So slow and rubbish. Don't waste your time.
All right, well, that one's a little bit more of a personal opinion as opposed to an attack.
Yeah.
Those are our thoughts on You Can't.
And then the rest of
Make
the
My
reviews
Heart
are
Beat.
quite solid.
What is it?
You can't. My heart can't beat unless you tell it to.
Thank you. Great film. Let us know your thoughts, though. I can't wait to hear them. Reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram at Frightday. You can leave a comment below this episode at frightday.com. You can send us an email, contact@frightday.com, or we could have a conversation about it in our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Frightday, or in our Discord server, discord.frightday.com. You missed. All right, comrade. If you like our show and want to help us make it even better, grab something spooky at shop.frightday.com.
Hubba hubba.
Yeah, look cool.
We're going to make some tea towels.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say no to that. Sounds fun. Sounds like a fun project. If you want to see tea towels, why don't you let us know? Facebook group's a good way to do it, but...
Don't you want some Captain Kelly's tea towels?
Some sort of home goods, of course.
Yeah.
Don't need to always wear it.
I mean, Captain Kelly really lends itself to some coasters, too.
We could do
and
lots of stuff.
Our cult logo lends itself to coasters.
Well, that's...
the circular nature of both of those things.
Sure. Shop.frightday.com. And we may be fueled by Spring Hill Jack Coffee, but it's the members of the Frightday Society who keep us full of blood. Thanks for all the bodies. Actually, you know what? Thanks for all the tattoos.
Yeah.
This is
Holy shit.
a little outrageous. Wow. You guys, your commitment
is frighteningly pressurizing.
It's great. I'm not intimidated at all.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
When you join the Frightday Society at patreon.com/Frightday, what's that? You get another episode.
And you have to get a tattoo.
Every week. Behind the screens.
Every week you have to get a
Get
tattoo.
a new tattoo. That's what you're obligated to do. We have 53 episodes of Behind the Screams. There's also bonus episodes of Captain Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies, Byron's Serial Corner, The Writer's Room, Toast to Toast PM with Wine Kelly, and Cinema Autopsy. The first 10 episodes, bet you've been wondering where those are. They're right here at...
Yeah, if you want to hear...
me doing an NPR voice?
Yeah, well, and if you want to hear Kelly in form that only she is not ashamed of, you should listen to
You were
those.
fine.
I mean, I'm the only one that isn't embarrassed for myself about that, I think.
Yeah, I would like to... I'm not going to listen to those ever again.
I know you aren't. I know, I love that.
Members also get early access to new products as well as a members-only merch store and 15% off everything at shop.frightday.com. We have a couple new folks this week.
Kian!
A new bystander, concerned citizen. We've got Karen A. Thanks for keeping an eye on us.
Hola, Karen.
Right. Jen L bumped her donation up and is now a member of the Frightday Society. Jen L, what are we gonna make her do?
Well, Jen L, Jen, what's the most humane way to kill a lobster?
Okay, you're just thinking
kidding.
ahead of today.
I'm just kidding. Jen...
Sharp hit. Oh, boil probably, actually. Yeah, they do the slow boil.
I feel like that's not okay. I'm going to have to do some research. Man, we are going to have some PETA people really pissed at us after this episode. Okay.
It's all right. They're pretty focused on the Jackass boys.
Are they?
Yeah.
What did they do?
Had a snake in their video? I don't fucking know. Whatever.
I know that it's not cool for me to not care about snakes, but I don't care about snakes.
They're scary. Okay, Jen.
Yeah, Jen, one of two things. If you've had a paranormal or spooky experience, write us that. If you haven't, write us about the scariest nightmare you've ever had.
Oh, okay. That's great. And Brock, I'd like to welcome you to the...
What's Brock's last initial?
I don't have one. Just straight up Brock. Paid for the whole dang year, though.
That's our friend, Brock.
Brock, welcome.
Welcome, Brock.
Brock, in the film that we talked about today, there is a Christmas every month, and our P.O. Box is in the show notes. I need you to send us a Christmas present every month.
No, you do
Absolutely
not need to
every
do
month,
us.
and that...
She already did that by giving us a whole year's subscription.
Well,
Come on.
I don't know. We'll see what happens, guys.
So kind.
And anyone listening, send us something to the P.O. Box. Make them uncomfortable. Just make sure it doesn't leak too much. Please. Thanks. You guys, absolute best. What a great morning, Kelly. I'm
Yeah.
finally awake.
Oh, what a beautiful morning.
What's that?
Oh,
Ooh,
what a beautiful
Kelly,
day.
it looks like your caviar truck is back again.
Shut up. I've never had caviar in my
Oh my
life.
God, they have cashmere uniforms?
Oh, what a beautiful
Did you
morning.
make them do that?
Everything's going my way.
These things are great for you, Kelly. It's pretty obvious.
I know. It's okay. It's only because Mercury isn't retrograde right now.
Not yet. Another great way to help us out, you could leave a review on iTunes. A couple of people recently did that and very, very much appreciate it. This is from Suck It Jobs, which I believe they're talking to Steve Jobs, who's deceased, so speaking ill of the dead.
Hey, whatevs.
5 stars. I'm not a big horror movie fan, but this is one of my favorite podcasts. The banter and chemistry between Byron and Kelly is great, especially Byron. They didn't say that. It's kind of opened my eyes to a new genre that I don't have much experience with. Keep up the great work. And also, J.P. Hark says, simply the best, 5 stars.
Simply the best!
Better than all of the rest. Like most listeners, I have quite a few shows I listen to every week. Out of all those shows, I look forward to Frightday the most.
Oh, that is so sweet.
So yeah, if you got sweet things to say them to us there.
Oh.
Yeah, take your phone, pick it up, give us stars, write some words. That would be...
cry. That was so
please
kind.
don't. That was... I mean, it was nice. I don't know if it's cry nice, but...
Okay, you were the one that was crying because some weird dude in mesh shorts held his arm out so that you didn't fall on your ass while riding some weird one-wheeled skateboard.
I'm doing fine. Mentally, very stable.
Totally great.
Doing great.
Really well. Yeah.
Kelly, where are you going to be until next week?
I'm probably going to be shopping on Mercari and Poshmark, to be perfectly honest with you. possibly Target.com. I will be on Twitter periodically between my shopping and at Kelly Frightday. And you can email me, kelly@frightday.com, and hopefully I won't be in a fire. The fire seems to be receding. So
Seems pretty good. And I'm at Byron McKoy on Twitter and Instagram. Byron@frightday.com is my email address. Ooh, we're entering into hell this week.
Byron, by the way, I have something to discuss with you.
Should we do it on mic?
Yeah, I know that you think that we're going to do Sawing Logs and Nathan
It'll be
Barjona
after.
all together.
We're sawing logs post.
We're actually going to be doing The Abyss before we do
Sawing logs?
Sawing Logs because I need something
All right.
to hold on to.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that because otherwise I'm not sure I'm going to make it.
But until next Friday,
Yeah, until.
I'm Byron.
I'm Kelly.
Maybe we could take a ride? Or just go outside?
Oh, so sad.
Stay scared. You've been listening to an Audio Wall original, produced by Byron McKoy, theme music provided by Cemeteries. For more programs like this, visit audiowall.co.
I wanted to show you this student of mine
Weird start.
who does music.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
Alfredson. Uskar.
Buskar?
Uskar. I'm practicing.
What are you practicing, you fucking weirdo?
My job? My fucking
It's a weird
job?
thing to practice.
What do you mean? You don't practice this podcast at all? You do?
Never.
You don't
Never
do
have.
vocal warm-ups?
To sit in solemn silence.
That's a lot of that happens in this movie. About to talk about it.